Good day, good afternoon, everyone. This is Captain Gaurav Rana. I run Sea and Beyond, and welcome all of you on this masterclass on data analytics and maritime operations. We've got with us presenters. We've got Captain Parhar, Gaurav Kullu, Yogesh, Jayashri, Sudarshan, who are going to talk about um, uh, the Excel course as such. We're going to talk about how and where they are using Excel and Power BI in their day-to-day lives and why this is probably more important and how the maritime industry is using these kind of tools essentially. And I hope it's a fruitful session to all of us as well. In the while I introduce all the presenters, let me just take another quick poll to understand the audience. And if I may know, what is your rank as well? While I take your rank, that poll, I'll introduce the presenters as well. So we've got Jayashri with us. Hi, Jayashri. Jayashri has been a core Excel trainer. Her core competence is training on Excel. And she's got more than 8 years of experience. And she's imparted training on advanced Excel, PowerPoint, BI, Python to various corporates, right? And she has very strong hands-on analysis of data and knowledge of various analysis and tools, and how they play an integral part in the growth of business, in decision making and all. So thanks for coming here, Jayashri, and I'm sure we all will learn from your expertise. We also have Captain Parhar with us, and so unlike Jayashri, who has been a structured trainer and who has learned through courses and who imparts those courses, Captain Parhar has been using Excel, since the time probably I was a cadet or a third officer, and he has learned out of his interest. He's learned on the job, and he has used Excel in many ways, making the life of an onboard personnel, an officer or engineer, very easy. And I have benefited from, I don't know whose Excel was made on my vessel, but they have really made our life very easy. He's used Excel in GHA calculation, stability calculation, and macros we look up to make life easy for people on board as it is. I've got Yogesh as well, and Yogesh is a marine engineer, and he's an enthusiastic data science professional working in a marine tech company right now. He holds a postgraduate certificate in data science for business excellence and innovation from IIM Nagpur, and he's got more than 10 years of experience. And from Yogesh, essentially what we learn is that why he did this course and how is he utilizing that expertise, the skills which he gained into the particular course, which or into his job as such. So thanks, Yogesh, for joining in. We've also got Sudarshan Rajendra. Sudarshan is a non-mariner, but he brings 11 years of dedicated experience in the maritime industry, specializing in vessel performance analysis and sustainable shipping practices. He's an active SME, contributing to the product development and data science solutions, and plays a key role in optimizing voyage fuel emission and ESG monitoring. He also holds an executive postgraduate diploma in AI, ML, and data science from IIM Kozhikode. We've got Gaurav with us. Gaurav is essentially an independent consultant, and he uses the skills which he has gained on Power BI to in his professional and personal life as well. So essentially, he's NISM certified, and he used Power BI to make investment goals in his VDR analysis things. He's used Power BI, and it has helped him and the companies that he is associated with in a big manner. And also, the things which probably a lot of us would take maybe hours to do, he's able to do it within minutes. He's of course a master mariner, and he sailed 21 years on oil tankers and more than 2 years as marine faculty. I've got an understanding of the audience. Let me also, we've got the poll on what is the rank of the people over here, and let me just share that result as well. And wow, it's fairly even Stevens. Normally, we used to have people on the top four sailing a lot more, but this time we've got top four sailing 33%, settled ashore after sailing 29%, 24% who are sailing at operational level, and 14% who have never went to sea. So that's the audience which we have right now, and this is for all of us as an audience to know, as a participant to know, and for the trainers as well. Now, why are we doing this course, and what is the purpose from Sea and Beyond's perspective, right? Sea and Beyond, as many of you may know, we are into placements as well, right? And we get a lot of requirements from the company, and the company asks us that we need professionals who are able to increase the efficiency, who understand the maritime know-how, and who can play a little bit with the data, right? For example, if they give them a lot of data, they shouldn't be lost, and they should be able to make meaningful insights from that. But to the companies, it is becoming increasingly difficult to find such people like Yogesh, who has sailed on the vessel, who know technology, and there is a lot of demand for such kind of people in these companies. From the point of view of the candidate, also we get a lot of requirements wherein they are confused on what can they do to upskill themselves, in which area do they upskill, how do they take the baby steps in upskilling, and where all can they get a job. Many a times what happens is people just directly take an AI course or something which is very fancy, because their friend or a friend of a friend would have done it, and sometimes they are a little bit unable to cope up with the course. So our suggestion sometimes is that, why don't you take baby steps? See if you can, if you're liking to play with the data, something which will help you in your professional life on board a vessel, or maybe, whatever you're doing ashore, and will help you to make you more efficient. So that's the reason why we're saying Excel has been around for long. No company can work without it. BI is extensively being used. Why don't you do, understand more about it? And that's where Sea and Beyond comes in, right? Because we know the market, because we know the candidates, we advise a certain course which you could do and which could be beneficial for you, right? What is data analytics? I mean, what are the key points on data analytics? It's a honestly, to me, it's a fairly abused term. Right, anything and everything nowadays people call as data analytics, but essentially, and at a very core basic level, if you are able to convert raw data into actionable insights, and it's not a direct process, you'll have to, of course, make the data a lot more sanitized. You'll have to use various tools, and depending on the size of the data or the complexity of the data, various other tools to get to the actionable insights. So that to me is data analytics. Why is it required? A lot of data coming through. In many industries, there is already a lot of data. In shipping, the data is there, but it was limited in nature. Now, the amount of data is increasing. So you would need data analytics to essentially make meaningful decisions. It will help you to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and increase safety, of course. But once you use data or data analytics tools, it makes your life a lot more easier, and the decisions which you make will be based on some data rather than a gut feel, which you might have, just knowing the just seeing the industry or just knowing your work. So how do you use data analytics? They can be used in various tools. Excel, Power BI, Tableau, Python are the commonly used tools. And you take one thing at a time. Excel, we believe, is being used everywhere. Power BI is the second tool, but a few companies do use Tableau or Python as well. Right. Now coming to the maritime aspect of things, right? The amount of data which is being generated from a vessel has increased, and it has increased in a fairly fast manner. In newer ships, you have more than 4,000 data points which keep on updating constantly, right? I mean, more than 4,000 data points, 60,000 ships in the world. You just multiply and you will see the data points which you have, and it's mind-boggling figure, right? Where do you get the data points from? You get the data points from, and this is just the navigation part of things, which apparently we feel is less. On the machinery part of things, make it 10x probably. And this is to just name a few: your AIS, ARPA, your rudder angle sensors, your speed you get, time you get, rate of turn you get. I'm sure all of you would know about whatever parameters you use to make a decision. All those parameters are now being captured and being relayed on shore, or maybe of course used on the vessel to make decisions. So the amount of data is increasing. What is happening in with the data? What has happened is, and with Industry 4.0 coming in, there are opportunities which are coming, right? And Industry 4.0, if you, I don't know how many of you know about it, but with industrial revolution coming through, Industry 4.0 is where the technology is being used to take the industrial efficiency or this industrial production further, and wherein they have identified these 9 pillars essentially, which are cyber physical systems, Internet of Things, big data analytics, 3D printing, simulation, virtual and augmented reality, cloud computing, cyber security. The shipping industry is increasingly comfortable with digital solutions such as performance monitoring, artificial intelligence, remote surveying, and automation. So within the shipping part of things, within the shipping cohort of things, the digital technologies which are mostly being used, right, are IoT, analytics, AI is a more generic term, blockchain. Blockchain is probably used more on the documentation side, more on the commercial side of things. On the operation side of things, the technology which are more being used is IoT, analytics, and AI. And that's where the shipping digitalization comes into the being, wherein partnerships are happening. So if you see a lot of ship ownership company, management companies are partnering with the likes of Zero North, the likes of Alpha Ori, of course they've merged, but GeoServe, to provide more insights and better data analysis, and the solutions which these companies on the right hand side are providing are on predictive maintenance, shipping personal assistant, logistics, and trade smart contracts where blockchain is being used. And we'll talk about all these digital solutions in our slides later on, which Yogesh and others will also point out on those as well. Now, you might have those skills, but how and where can you use these skills, right? And what is it going to do for you? Sometimes we as laymen, we might feel that these are just jargons and we may not be able to use them, but increasingly we know, we have seen that a lot of positions are specifically coming in the maritime industry wherein these skills are used, right? Now, these positions are business analyst, voyage analyst, data scientist, vessel performance manager, digitization managers, product developers, and these are while you work in a company. But even if you're not working, you can start on your own. You can become an entrepreneur, and you can absolutely use these skills over there. There's so many companies which I know which have come up wherein they are providing digitization services, digitalization services to the maritime industry and such. And let me take a poll at this point of time, and then I will leave this platform, or I'll give this to Yogesh for for his slides then. So, what are your views on data analysis in the maritime industry? Do you feel it's a hype and probably useless? You're not sure. It seems fancy. Heard of it. It's going to affect our professional lives, but you've never experienced it, or you are experiencing the changes which are happening in your professional life. All right. Uh, Last 5 seconds for the answers to come in, and then I'll stop the poll and share the results with you all. Okay. Let's share the results. So, right, 69% of you are experiencing on how data analysis is affecting your professional life. Personal life, we all know it's affecting, right? 20% of you have heard of how it's going to affect, but you're not experienced it. 3% of you, it feels you feel it's fancy, and maybe a couple of guys feel it's probably useless. So yeah, I mean, all of your opinions well noted. And thanks for that. What I talked about data analysis was from my experience, what I've seen the industry. I have worked in IBM for 4 years. I've managed projects for Adani and JM Bakshi, wherein I've actually created a analytics data center. And in my view, we are already late as an industry into the data analysis game, and we are at I mean, probably not the cups, but we are increasing the usage of data, and it's increasing at a rapid pace. It's the right time for anyone who is interested to enter into this field. But that's me, right? I am not in a marine tech company right now, but let's hear from the practitioners. Let's hear from people who have been using it, and probably it'll give you more insights into the data as such. So over to you, Yogesh, now.
Thank you, Captain Gaurav. Hi, all. I am Yugesh. As already Captain Gaurav introduced me, I was ex-marine engineer, sailed for about 10 years in LPG carriers. Then I did a post-graduation course in data science from IIM Nagpur. During the course, I acquired the skills of SQL, Microsoft Excel, Power BI, Python, and machine learning. So currently, I'm working in a marine tech company as an analyst. So this data science course helped me for the career transition from a marine engineer to the data analytics world. So as we all know, the data is the new fuel. Maritime industry relies heavily on the data for digital transformation, which leads to effective decision making. So in that way, Excel and Power BI serves us as a powerful tool for analyzing the diverse maritime data. So if we see the benefits of Excel are its versatility, user friendly, calculations and customization. Even in my current role, I am effectively utilizing Microsoft Excel and Power BI to clean the data, transform the data and visualize the data, providing actionable insights into the vessel performance, operational efficiency, technical data analysis, navigational parameter analysis, speed consumption curves, and adding to that, analyzing the main engine performance reports, fuel oil analysis, lube oil reports, um, then piston ring condition monitoring, specific fuel oil consumption reports, comparing the sea trial data with the monthly performance. So various uses of uh, Excel and Power BI we can, yeah, these are the use cases. And since the session's time is limited, very few use cases we have listed here. Then my personal recommendation to the sailing mariners or the shore job seekers who are looking to transition into the data analytics or the related roles to acquire a solid foundation in the data science tools and techniques, specifically Microsoft Excel and Power BI. Gaining hands-on experience with these tools can significantly boost the confidence and reduce the long work hours drastically. So any data with our domain knowledge, these tools will come handy actually. So for example, if we take the speed consumption data, so we can derive the curve and compare the fuel consumption with the sea trial or shop trial data.
All right. And you're using Excel for this in your current organization?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Basically, we use Excel for what we can say. Even in Excel, we can make dashboards. But if we want to do interactive dashboards, we can use Power BI.
All right, great. Good. You have anything else to say, Yogesh?
That's it, sir. Open for questions later.
All right. Yeah, we'll take the questions later on for everyone. Jayashree is essentially, she will be teaching us Excel. But before we get into, before she starts speaking, let me take one poll on for everyone, what is your level of understanding of Excel? That, and then Jayashree will essentially take us through the sessions that will happen. And she will also give a small demo about Excel as well. Great. Another 3-4 seconds. I'll end the poll and share the results. So just for everyone to see, there are about 50% who know about basic to intermediate, 33% basic, 14% intermediate to expert, and the 3% who are expert as well. So yeah, good to know about your skill sets. And over to you, Jayashree, now.
Thank you, Gaurav. Welcome, guys. As you all know, I'll be your trainer for this course. So before I take you with some shortcut keys or the way by which Excel working can be done smartly, let me take you through the course curriculum we have designed. Now, the logic is, guys, I'm having an experience in providing trainings to corporate where I understood exactly what corporate people needs or what any person working on Excel needs. It's a huge kind of in C, I can say. You can't learn everything. So you need to pinpoint few of the aspects which are really very important. And that is what we have planned over here. Our, our training will be of 4 different days. On day 1, you'll be having an overview on, few of you, like you said, you are on very basic level. So we'll be first starting with understanding the simple functionalities, which are really very awesome sometimes to create reports, like sum, average, min, max. Ahead, you'll be understanding the concept of referencing. I could see on the poll that few of you said you know referencing, but I really don't know if you are aware of the 3 different types of referencing we have. That is what we'll be covering: relative, absolute, and mixed referencing. Then we'll be having a look onto the concept of the logical functionalities, where you'll be learning how, based on the criteria, you can take up an action. You can take an action in a text format or some numerical calculations can be done. How you can take up an action with multiple criteria, that is combining that if along with the end, and even nesting your functions, which you need a lot of time. Writing a simple function is anyone can do, but we need to understand how complexity can be given to the functionality in a smooth way. Then we'll be having one more concept on day one itself, that is conditional formatting, which is again an awesome feature. Reason is this feature will help you to simply highlight the data where you want to bring a focus more. You can give your highlights based on any of the criterias. And the amazing thing of this tool will be, it will be dynamic. So the moment your data change, your entire conditional formatting will change. So no need to give manual formattings for the data. Give them automatically. That's the plan of day one. On day two, you'll be understanding again a concept of table. Now, again, I don't know why, but this is one of the tool of Excel, which is really very important, but had been ignored by max of the learners or max of the professionals. Reason is they know the table, they know the concept of table, but they are not aware what magic that table can do for us. It will help you to give dynamic impact. That's what you'll be learning over here, along with sorting, filtering, and removing the duplicate values. You'll be learning about how conditional based addition or average or countif can be done. You'll be understanding how you can name your data. That one example I'll be taking in fact today, where you'll be understanding, okay, if I can just name the table, if I just name a column, how easy it will be for me to write in functionality. That I'll cover you and show you practically. Then we'll be understanding how to give data validations or how to give restrictions on the data, because we are not always the one who will be feeding the data. We'll be taking up help from someone to feed that data. And we as at a higher level will be just sharing them the outlines we want, the columns we want, the info we want. So we want to keep a constraint over there that you don't write something wrong, which is not eligible for that data. So how that condition, how that data validation can be given. Along with that, we'll be having a look onto some date and time functionalities, which helps a lot for you to create your reports. And then definitely how to protect your data so that no one can play with your data unless and until you have permitted that. That's the plan for day 2 or session number 2, I can say. Our third session will be about understanding the concept of text to column. Again, an amazing feature because that helps you to split your data. We all know that our data is never clean. We get our data from some or the other applications. And the very first task we need to do is arrange that data in systematic manner. So with the help of this text to column or some text functionalities, you will be learning how to clean and prepare your data. Because if you know how to create charts, but if you don't know how to prepare the data for creating that chart, it's of no use. You can't create a chart or you can't create any visualization or dashboard on a dirty data. So you need to understand how to transform, reshape, and clean that data. And then along with that, any person who is working on Excel is like a fan of VLOOKUP. Need to learn VLOOKUP. Without that, you can't work. But then it has some problem. So with the VLOOKUP, there is another function in the market or provided by Microsoft called as index. So you'll be understanding how to write an index function along with match at sometimes when your VLOOKUP is not helping you to get the correct results. That's your day 3 plan. And for the day 4, it will be a flash field concept, which is again the one which just helps you to pull a data as per your wish without writing a single formula. Again, I'll be taking up one short example of that. Then along with that, you'll be learning how to create charts, how to give dynamic look to the charts, and there are n number of formattings in the charts. So you'll be having a look onto many of the aspects of how to exactly design the chart, how to give a correct look to the chart. And then how to use pivot tables to summarize the information if sometimes you need that short summarization and not the entire data sets. That's what we have planned for this 4 days training. I believe you all must be aware of the dates on which you'll be having these sessions. Our first training will be on 23rd, which will be of 3 hours, but we have planned it like for the first 2 hours, I as a trainer will be helping you to understand the concept, and then Captain Parhar will actually help you to understand how to use them at your own data. Now that is an amazing thing, understanding the concepts also and then understanding how on your data you can use that. Our day 2 will be on 24th of March. Day 3 is planned on 30th of March and day 4 is on 31st of March. That's the plan. I'll just take you with one small example of the sample data, which I feel you'll understand the impact of if you know Excel in the correct way, how easy it will be.
And just to add on that, Jayashree, just a minute, I believe you'll be giving assignments to everyone, and of course, some booklet as well.
Yes.
to
Yes.
know.
So you will be getting a kind of short PPTs, we can call that as a booklet, where all the instructions will be given. Every time there will be two different worksheets shared with you. One will be solved, second one will be unsolved, so that you always have that backup of the perfect outputs, how to create that. And then definitely some assignments, because if you don't work on that, if you don't practice, I can say in short, then you will not be able to use that when the time comes. So a few of the assignments will definitely be given to you. Now let's have a look onto a few of the examples. Like you can see over here, the table one is a kind of solved one, where I was just creating up some expenses summary. And my target was, I was being provided with the details from Jan to December and needed to just find out the total for the four different departments I was having and for the different months I'm having. Now, anyone will say, okay, what's a big thing in that? I can just go and write down some function over here and I'll get my output, which is definitely true. Then, what I am going to do, since I know how to use Excel in the correct way, I'm going to just say Control A, Alt equals to, and my task is done. I'm not writing even a single formula. I'm not saying drag the formula down, drag the formula to the right side. Just in shortcut key, Alt equals to, and my entire task is done. So this is just one of the tips. Like this, you'll be learning a lot about how to use Excel in the correct way. Example number 2, as I said, flash fill is again an amazing feature. I'm having this dirty data again. I want to break this data and find out what are the zips or what are the state. Now to find out the zip, if you are aware, I can just go with the right function and fetch that. But then if I want to find out the state, I'm into trouble. How to get that? In such case again, you can just use flash fill. You need to just pass up over here some of the examples. Like I'm saying over here, help me with WA. Enter. Help me with CA. And can you see that there was some dimmed text over there, which was indicating, are you willing to get those CA, DA infos from the data? I'm saying yes, Control E, and my task is done. Again, without writing any formula. That's the concept of flash fill. But you need to understand some of the concepts when you are doing flash fill, which we'll be covering up in our training. That's all from my side. I hope you got pretty good idea about how we are going to learn the things in an amazing way without writing too many formulas, or even when we are writing the formulas, understanding the logic of the formulas. Guys, really, I feel that we all know VLOOKUP, but we don't know what those 4 parameters of VLOOKUP are asking us. And that's the reason when a new data comes into picture, we are not able to write the formula. So the training agenda will be, you should understand the functionality well, not just bringing the output on the screen. That's all from my side. I'm open to question and answers towards the end.
Thanks, Yashri. Very useful. And thanks for showing the examples as well and taking us through the day in, day out plan as well. So really thanks for that. Over to you, Captain Parhar, now. If you could, give us a demo on how have you used Excel in your shipboard work, and how I'm not sure how many 100,000 mariners would have benefited from the work that you would have done. So over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I see the very good attendance here, and I have not learned Excel through any formal channels. I am, completely self-taught. So I started learning Excel when I realized I was going to become a chief officer very soon, and I will probably get sacked if I don't do a draft survey quickly enough. So that was the first thing that I did, tides and draft survey like all second mates and chief mates do. So the point, as Captain Gaurav has said, and the other participants, Jayashree has also mentioned, that Excel is a very, very powerful tool. Now, as seafarers, we handle data. The presentation of data is a very vital fact for the analysis part of it. But as sailing staff, what we are actually doing is crunching numbers. We want a quick answer. I want to know how will my ETA change if speed drops by 0.3 knots. That is a very simple calculation, and that is something which I have seen people struggling with. I've seen people struggling with crew lists. Agent says, I want a crew list in a certain format. I want this information. And people struggle with that. So anything is possible. I will give you a few samples of what I'm using as of now. If you just give me a second to share my screen.
Sure, please go ahead.
Now, can everybody see the screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Now, this is something that I have made about 3 years ago. The original one I made in 2003, but it was only valid till 2020. So when 2020 ran out, I was without such a program again. Now, as most of you can see, I get all my parameters here. All I need to do is set my date. You can see I'm going to change the date by moving this slider. Today is 16th March. I'm going to change it to say 17th, and you'll see all the values change. So this is something which the navigators would be able to relate to. Now, I understand this is not much to do with the navigators, with the engineers, but I will show something to the engineers also. Now, this is something that I had made when I was on a bulk carrier. Wait a minute. Now, how does your trim change if you change the weight in a particular compartment? I know your Lodicator will give you that. Much simpler. Can everybody see the drafts changing?
Correct.
So the possibilities are endless. Now, if you just give me 30 seconds, I will run a macro here. I know it's a little bit advanced, but please sort of bear with me. Okay. Now, as you can see, the program is asking me a distance. I will say 11,300 miles. Speed is 14 knots. My fuel consumption is 60 tons. Fresh water, it should be surplus. I have to amend that. Let's say 5 tons of surplus every day. Forward draft 18, aft draft 18. We talk midship draft 18.1. Please enter sailing displacement. I'll just enter 0 and enter. And sailing date, let's say 16 March 2024. Now the macro is running because of the network. Can everybody see all the drafts, daily drafts on the left side?
Yes, we can.
Now this was a sheet that I used to give to the engineers when I was chief officer, and that was like 20 years ago. And nobody troubles the chief mate after that. And the engineers are happy, chief mate is happy, captain is happy. So as you can see, the use that a program like Excel offers you is actually phenomenal. We just have to be able to crack it. And most of the functions, if you realize, are the very basic functions. You don't have to learn every little function of Excel. You just need to learn the basic functions and learn them well and have a bit of creativity in how you can use them. Even if you go to class 12 standard, the basic 4 functions will remain the same. You can solve the most complicated physics numerical, but at the end of the day, it will just come down to plus, minus, divide, and multiply. So these are the building blocks. The better you get to learn them, the easier your life will be. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Captain. Very nice presentation and very, concise and quick manner. You have shown the effectiveness of Excel and more importantly, how you can use it. Yeah. So thanks very much for that. We've got Sudarshan now, Sudarshan Rajendran, and Sudarshan is again working in a marine tech company, and he's been using Excel day in, day out for his work. And Sudarshan, over to you, and if you can show how are you using this on the short side of things, right? And it'll be very helpful for all of us.
Okay, I will directly start with the use case of a voyage performance quarterly report. So that because I already everything the importance of Excel and how it's done is all already shared. So for any data analytics work, I think there are like 5 key events or key process we will follow. That is like data collection, then cleaning, then you have the calculations, then visualization, then getting insights out of it. That's all. So this process, I'll just show my sheet, then I will explain what I'm doing. So the way I said, basically I get some data. I work with known reports, not only known reports, but most of the time this is like a known reports I collected for like for a vessel for like 3 months. 3 months data is there. Whatever the time period or whatever is the number of vessels, basically I'll collect. The known report will consist of your basic parameters like speed, consumption, RPM, power, and which port to which port we are going, and your weather conditions. All data will be there. So basically, I will get the data dump as a raw in raw format. Then I will process it. I will make some calculations out of it. I'll calculate some key fields. So basis ROBs, I'll calculate consumption. Also, I'll calculate. I'll also compare the consumption against each ROBs. So basically, I will make sure the data is clean, and then I will do the calculations on top of that. Then I'll do some pivot tables. This is for visualization purposes. To get the visual, we got to make the data in such a way to we can plot it in the charts. So I'll make some basic pivot table charts which will be useful for our visualization. Then comes the report, and this is the report. Just I will go through it just for a glance how it looks. This is a quarterly report you can have for a dates are little older data, but basically this is how it goes. Still we are using it, but as you can see there, the analysis period is around 3 months, and out of which the vessels, how many days vessel was sailing and vessel was in port, and how many days in ballast and laden, and how many days the vessel actually sailed for more than 23 hours with good weather. That breakup is there. Then comes the fuel breakup section. You will have like how my main engine, auxiliary engine, boiler is how much fuel they spent. It's almost 90% standard for bulk carriers to have like 90% of the fuel is taken by main engine and around 10% by auxiliary engine. If I see the number and if it is going above and below, then I'll check, okay, they consume more on auxiliary engine. So they would have done something in the some other abnormal activity. So I'll check why they consumed. So also the split is there for if this is overall and by ballast, by laden, also by fuel type. They have sailed in eco zones and stuff. They will also consume gas oil, diesel oil. So that breakup will be there. Then how much sludge they generated. This is another important parameter in our this thing in our fuel. How much fuel I'm wasting basically. Then other technical parameters like SFOCs, average power, average RPM, average load conditions, how for the 3 months, how the vessel performed, total distance traveled, and per day, what is my average speed, and per knots, how much I'm consuming, those kind of a data. Then I'll observe, I'll see the data, and I will give some comments out of it, why it's not like this, why it is like this, like that. Then machinery analysis. In here, you will see major machineries, main engine, auxiliary engine. Generally, we have a set point of like 10% from the main engine, like main engine running hours, and 110% of running hours can be auxiliary engine. So if they have earned more, if they use auxiliary engine more than that, then we will check why they have used oil sailing, auxiliary engine oil sailing. So that's the machinery runtime. Then comes the charter party section. Here we have the charter party agreed limits, speed and consumption against ballast and laden. As you can see in ballast passage, they have consumed a little more than the agreed CP consumption. In laden, they have done well. And here in the laden passage, they have consumed less because they have sailed at lesser speed. That's the insights I'm getting out of it. Basically this report is split of two things. One is a summary kind of a thing in the first page, and the second page will be like individual day trends. Okay, so the above is all a summary snapshot of 3 months, and the second page is basically the trend, how my vessel performed on day-to-day basis against each comparisons. So if you see the first two charts, one is speed, first is consumption, second is speed. So the red dots are the charter party limits. So if you see the first segment is ballast, then laden passage, then again ballast passage. You see we also noticed in the first page, the ballast they have consumed more. So basically, they consumed more and ballast. We'll check the reasons why. But as per the charter, either there might be wrong reporting of charter party. Also, there might be the instructions to go at a higher speed, so they would have consumed more. That's the reason we have to dig into it. Why? Then for laden, they almost performed as at par with the charter party requirements. You can see that. Then also here, if you see in the second chart, this is speed. They operated lesser speed on laden voyage and almost on at par with the speed advised by the for the ballast passage. So the whole section from this area to this area is for the whole report for the whole page. It belongs to ballast, and wherever red and green is coming, then that is good weather and bad weather days of that particular place. Then here the auxiliary systems, where I take time and passage. I compare time and passage and auxiliary engine running hours. So on everyday basis, I plotted the running hours against the total time on passage. So if see if you, these 3 days and the some 28th of March, you can check that they've operated the auxiliary engine more than the time on passage, which means two or more generators were running at this time. They would have done some ballast operations, ballast exchange operations like that. That I noted down and put it in the comments why they have done it. And the second chart is DG power and means auxiliary engine power and consumption. Basically, it should be proportional. If it is very much deviating from each other, then I will go in depth and will check what is the reason it could be. Then comes the ROB chart. Here the green one is fuel oil consumption on everyday basis. So which means like this constant slope shows that they are consuming almost same number of tons every day. And this bump is the indicator that they have bunkered in the voyage. And then this small bump, you can observe that they have done some ROB corrections, which they would have. So I will go and check if they have updated the survey corrections on board or not in the system. So big bumps are bunker corrections, and small bumps I can say it's ROB corrections they have done. So these things only when you see consumption we cannot find out. So you have to check ROBs whether they are reporting correctly or not. And the last part is power and RPM. You see this first and last segment are ballast. So the left side axis is power, right side axis is RPM. Where in the ballast voyage, it's almost the load for a given load, the RPM was almost matching. But in the laden voyage, you can see for the given power, the RPM is less, that we can observe. Generally, it's a pattern for laden and ballast. So this is like a crisp screenshot of voyage performance report for a vessel for like 3 months period. We can do much more. Then I'll check it. I'll put comments and I'll take the printout. Printout means it will make a PDF report. Then I will send it as a. So it comes here. This is the okay. I selected that only, so it's coming. 1 second. So that's how I do. This is the report. I just mail this report every quarterly, and will to owners as well as technical managers. That's all. Thanks. Any doubts? I'm open for clarification at the end of the session. Thanks. You can unshare the screen. Yes.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Really wonderful. So basically, the noon reports for past 90 days have been collated,
transformed into insights,
cleaned, transformed into a report. And I remember last time you also showed that you can also email from the Excel as well, from a click of a button. So you could just directly email as well. So,
yes. From the Excel only we can basically my suggestion or recommendation is like if you learn to play with Excel, I think you can learn any tools in a matter of time. That's because you have to start with this so that it will be very easy for you to understand any other systems for analytics particularly.
Sure, absolutely. Great. Thanks.
Yes,
so
you can unshare my screen. I think someone.
Yeah. Now, before we move to Gaurav, who will talk us through BI and what BI has done or can help you in your efficiency, let me launch a poll on your understanding of the BI as well. So Sudarshan, you can stop sharing the screen. And this is a poll which would be on your screen, which is what is your level of understanding on Power BI? Great. Looking for a few more answers. About 60% of you have voted, and looking for a few more answers, and then we'll request Gaurav to talk through a BI. Last 4-5 seconds. All right. I've ended the poll and sharing results. So 53% have never used BI, 22 have used it a couple of times, 19 have never heard, and 5% have used it a lot. So that's what we have in terms of the audience, their understanding on BI. Over to you, Gaurav, now.
So first of all, very good afternoon, and I'm super excited to launch another session or another batch of this course. And to be very honest, this is one of the most important things that I have done, because I was one of the participants in the first batch. While I was thinking, like, I know the shore-based industries, so that was really good for me, good learning for me. And from there on, I have moved on, and I have learned Power BI, and thanks to C and Beyond that we are collaborating together to do this course on Power BI as well. So basically, Excel and Power BI is what we are discussing, and a lot of has been discussed by Captain Rana in the earlier, more in depth and breadth. So I'll just quickly take you through this. So if you're looking at for a BI analyst role, you can see here that Excel and Power BI, both of them actually plays an important role. Also there is Tableau. Okay. So if you're looking at a data visualization specialist role, assured, again, Power BI, Excel comes into play. Data engineer also, Excel, Power BI is always there. And then there is another thing called data scientist, where much more than that, it goes to Python, R script, and whatnot. Okay. So essentially, you can see Excel, Power BI is everywhere, and that is why we have focusing on the Power BI and Excel as of now. Now, of course, there is another tool called Tableau. Tableau is also very popular, but going by this chart, which you can see here, this is a magic quadrant. This is data was given by Gartner, which is an analytic or advisory company, and they have listed Microsoft as one of the leaders in the analytics and business intelligence platform. So we said, okay, let's start with Microsoft Power BI itself. So Power BI basically is a Microsoft product, and very common and easy to use, and in fact, very popular also. Okay, so that's why we are going for Power BI tools. Now, about the course, I'll be your instructor for the course. Obviously, the course is divided into two parts. Now, coming to data visualization, why do we need data visualization? Simple. Like suppose I show you this table, like, and tell you, okay, in 10 seconds, what you can derive from this table. Honestly speaking, the answer is no, nothing. Because our mind is not designed to read textual, understand textual things that fast. But when we convert this thing into data visualization, when we convert this into visuals like charts or graphs or something like that, it is now much easier for us to understand what is happening to product A, what is happening to product B, and very quickly we can understand what is happening, and we can also derive some insights out of it. So that is where Power BI or Tableau comes into play. Now, going into the data analysis workflow. So whatever data analysis we are going to do in whatever role we might be playing, this is the the workflow, how it goes. It also always starts with understand the business case. Okay, what is the objective? What is the goal behind it? What we are doing? That's where it starts with. Then it comes to a measurement plan. We have to build a measurement plan. Based on that, we have to collect the data. So where we are going to collect the data, shipping companies, they collect the data from the ships. So as we have seen the earlier, with Captain Rana has described, various data points are there. So that's where we collect the data from there. Then understand the data. Okay. When we understand the data, finally we analyze and visualize data. And this is where we use tools like Excel and Power BI. Okay, this is where we use the tools like Excel and Power BI, where to analyze and visualize the data. Then next step is to develop the data-driven insights. Okay. So next step is always to develop data-driven insights and finally measure, test, and optimize. So this is all going further to it. In this course, essentially, we will be focusing on these three aspects of data analysis, which is understanding the data, analyze and visualize the data, and finally derive the insights. Because if you're not able to derive any insights from data, then it is of actually no use. Okay. Now, quickly, I will show you few. Okay, so now there are some I have worked on Power BI and as a independent consultant, freelancing jobs, and also I use it for media analysis and all. So recently, now one of my latest work that I have done was the analysis of USCG port state control. Okay, so this is the latest thing that I've created, and I think I'll be publishing this as a blog very recently, very soon, maybe by today or maybe by Monday as time to permitting. And you can find this blog in the CN Beyond blog section. So what is this basically dashboard, which is telling about all the inspection that has been done, in which district, what are the figures, how many detentions have happened, and so on and so forth. Okay. So basically, once you derive such kind of once you create this visualization, then you can start generating the insights from it. Okay. So another example which I would like to share is this another desktop project, that is the marine accident projects. So you can again you have the data, you have to again do the data cleaning, and finally you have to upload and create the visualizations. Again, keeping in the mind what story or what insights you are going to generate from it. So these are some of the examples, no matter what sector you are working in, what kind of data you are handling. So you'll be able to create this kind of dashboards. Now dashboards, why? Because it helps in analyzing it very quickly. Like suppose I want to just quickly find out how many sales employees are there. So this is my HR dashboard. So just in one click, the whole dashboard, you can see it changes. It interacts with the selection that I am doing, right? So that way it comes very helpful for doing any kind of analysis. Okay. Now coming to the content of the course. The content is divided into two parts. The first session, which will be about approximately 2 hours, where we'll be discussing the introduction to the Power BI. What is Power BI, why Excel, just basics part. Second, quickly we'll go through the settings, the Power BI interface, Canvas settings, and Power BI ecosystem. I will be explaining how to get started with the Power BI. Then connecting and shaping the data. So like also Jayashree had clearly mentioned that data never comes clean. Okay. So that's a very big challenge for any data analyst. So you need to know how to clean the data before you start loading it into the Power BI system. So how to connect the data from various connectors, what is query editor, defining hierarchies, etc. We will learn that part. The fourth section will be the say hi to DAX. So calculated columns, measures, quick measures, and basic maths calculations. So what is DAX basically? DAX is essentially your data analysis expressions. So it's a formula language. So like I'll give you an example here. I have created this the dashboard, and here you can see this is a measure that I have created. And I wanted to know what percentage in order to compare something, I need to put it in percentage wise so that I can do a fair comparison. So for that, I have to write a formula. In Excel, also we write formulas. There's a function bar on top, and then we can type the formula there. Similarly, here we have DAX functions. So this is the formula that I have written, which is called the detention percentage, which is divide, open bracket, sum of sheet 1, again detentions, comma. So this is basically your dash function. So it might look, currently it might look a little complicated for especially the beginners, that ye kya cheez hai. But we will learn all of it in the course. Okay. So how to write all these DAX function and all, so that we can do our calculations and generate quick measures. Next part will be creating relationship in model view. Many to many function, one to many function, cross filter direction, all we will discuss there in the relationship model view. Then the next day will be the session 2, which will be focusing more now onto the visualization, building the visualization, how to build a final report, the visualization and dashboard that we have seen right now. Okay. So how to build a report, how to insert objects and charts, formattings, bookmarks, all these things we will discuss on the second day. Data refreshing, and finally we'll see this managing Power BI. Once we have created all the dashboard, how we are going to refresh the data, because many times what happens, you have a very dynamic data where you are getting reports every day. Every day you are getting known reports or some kind of addition happening. So how you are going to refresh those data, how you are going to share the reports once you have created, and of course we will also discuss some of the best practices in the Power BI. Now there'll be 2 assignments in it. In this entire Power BI session, we will be having 2 assignments. One assignment we will be working along with the instruction, and the second assignment will be given to you, which you have to do it yourself and then submit it. And honestly speaking, I was really stunned to see the previous batch, their work, which they had done. They came out with wonderful insights and wonderful dashboards they had created. So it actually made me very happy that people are interested and actually putting efforts to learn how to create this dashboards. And finally, as a add-on to it, we'll be integrating some AI tools also. We'll also learn how to integrate some AI tools, use some AI tools to help us creating this dashboard, whether it is Excel or mostly Power BI. Okay. So that also we will be discussing in the course. So that is more and more about the content that we will be having. So I think that is all from my side. I'll be certainly very happy to see you in the batch.
Great, Gaurav. Thank you. Thanks a lot, and very, very well explained. And we got a view of what Power BI could do for us, and essentially in terms of visualization and how it really impacts and how we can process the data much better once we see it visually. So let me just take everyone through and summarize about our training as well. All right. So here are the features of the training which we have. It's a 20-hour course, 4 sessions on Excel, 3 hours each. On BI, we've got 2 sessions, 4 hours, 2 hours each. We'll have a problem solving session, 1 hour problem solving session, and more importantly, a report presentation by the candidate. And that's very, very important, because the more you practice, the more you understand a tool, the better you can use it. Unlike many other trainings, this is instructor-led. You will have real-time case studies and which are relatable to you. So if I give you a data of any other industry, you may not be able to relate. But in this course, you will be able to relate that data, because we will also show you use cases. You will also have recording available for the entire course of all the lectures. So in case you happen to miss one, we will share the recording. You will be able to see that. And this recording will be there for at least 1 year. You can access the recording at any point of time. You will also have exclusive email support even after the course. So after the course, if you want to do something on Excel, something on BI, and you're stuck somewhere, we will be able to help you in solving those queries as well. We've already explained to you the schedule. Essentially, it's on weekends. So it starts from the next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, 23rd, 24th, 10 a.m. to 1 a.m., 30th, 31st, the next weekend, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then the next weekend, Power BI course, 6th and 7th April. Then we've got doubt clearing sessions, 8th and 10th, which is essentially Monday and then Wednesday. And on 13th April, we'll have the 2-hour assignment presentation by all candidates. You'll also get a certificate, which you can put on your LinkedIn, which you can put on your CV as well about the course which you have done. More importantly, of course, the certificate is important, but you can show the projects that you have done, which will be useful for you in your prospective interviews or prospective, jobs that you might look at. So these are the couple of projects which you'll be asked to complete, and companies will be very keen on seeing the insights, the projects that you would have done till then. The reason why we have kept the schedule on the weekends is that if anyone, and last time we had a few marine technical superintendents and managers also attending the course. For essentially for the shore guys, it is the best time, over the weekend that you could do the course at. What's the pricing and the discounts? You've got the Excel and BI at 6,000 each. If you take a combined of this, it's at 10,999, and we're also offering discount to all of you, and the discount is 10%. When you go and book the course, use the code C10, and you'll get 10% discount. The discount is valid for the first 10 participants only. We endeavor to have about 20 odd people in the course. The first 10 participants will get this discount. After this, the discount code coupon will automatically be utilized. It will not be applicable. So do avail the discount coupon as well. And yes, you can write to us on education@cnbeyond.com. There is a number which is also written, which we'll put it in the chat also. And so you can connect with us in case you have any queries as such. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it from our end. I look forward to any questions which you might have about the course, about data, about the use cases, and happy to answer them. And let me take a poll as well at this point of time. And the poll is, sorry. Okay. After going through all the presentation, would you be interested to attend this course? Yes, for both one of the courses, maybe you will think, and not now, maybe some other time. Okay, I've got a question directly, DM question from Gaurav Jain. His question is, if he's unable to attend the sessions, now can I have the next availability? Can I have the next availability? So you will, you can attend, we will give you a recording, which you can always see. Also, what you can do is, in case you miss one session, we intend to do these courses once in a quarter. So we can also allow you to sit in that particular session in the next course whenever we do that next course as well. All right. Can we have a few? Okay, let me end the poll and share the results as well. We've got about 30% of you who would like to do both, 18% who would like to do one of the courses, 32% would like to think, and 20% not now. So that's fair enough. And that's for on how whether you would be interested to do the course. Let's take the question. Ishan, you feel the price is too high. I'm not sure, but we are using instructors, and we'll have to kind of it's a commercial model. But write to us what your concern is, and let's see if we can do something about it. You write to us on education@cnbeyond.com. Suraj, you need to connect directly to clarify some doubts. Sure, write to us on education, and whomsoever the doubt is, or honestly, if you want to ask the doubt right now, you can have the mic. You can ask the doubt right away as well, because that doubt may be for some other persons as well. So it will clarify for other people as well. So if you want to have the mic, you can speak up your doubt as well. Suraj, you want to speak up?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Suraj Prabhakar. I'm in sort of contemplating retirement from sea life. I already have stopped sailing about 3 years back, but I intend to pursue something onshore, preferably connected to what I have been doing so far, uh, if possible, concerned with shipping as well. My doubt is that I'm not from any coastal city, so I would like to know whether what we are doing here is actually help getting me kind of alternative career from sitting here. I'm in Bangalore, that is. So would I still be able to have something to do with shipping with this kind of learning?
Sure. So two, three things, Suraj. In Bangalore, there are at least 2 or 3 marine tech companies which I know of, and basically you could liaise with them, help them, and in some of these roles, because the demand is high and the supply is less, and I'm talking about the marine tech roles. Because the demand is high, some companies are still allowing work from home, and that's where you could also provide your services. Having said that, it's not guaranteed that you would get a job after doing this. What would happen though is your chances of getting opportunities increases. The probability increases as and when you upskill yourself with the skills which are in demand within the industry.
Right. And the second part to that is that me coming from a previously sailing background, I have very little exposure to actual software, and um, it is limited to the usage of the software that we had on board, which is very limited, like the primary stage of your presentation said, just basically data collection and forwarding. So with that background, do you think I can upscale or do this course without knowing too much of the, say, the computer language or as such, just the usage part?
Okay. Thanks. It's a very good question. And I think Gaurav Kullu over here is a live example. We did our Excel course first time a year back, and he was a participant in that course. And he liked that course. He went on to explore himself. He went on to explore BI, and now he's kind of fairly very conversant in these data analysis, and then he's doing it for us professional and personal, is using both the tools for professional and personal efficiency. And Gaurav, maybe if you would like to take this question and tell and address it.
I think currently, if we are looking for a standardized thing, then I think, like Captain Rana has very rightly said, there may not be there. It's still a bit of challenge to find it work from remote or locations. But yes, if we can provide solutions, like we need to contact the companies and we need to tell them that, look, I can do it as an independent consultant. Yes, you can do it. But if I am asking for a salaried job, then may not be possible. But an independent consultant, it is possible.
No, more so to the point, I want to know whether it is as a marine engineer who has been sailing for the last 20 years, do you think the knowledge that we have on board, not with specifically related to the software and hardware side, is that sufficient enough to go through the course and actually become proficient at it? It's something like knowing ABC and basically learning to write a book. So, I mean, is that bridgeable?
So I will share my point of view, if you allow. So
Sure.
these are tools actually. So these are commonly used in various fields like finance, sales, everywhere. So since we have our advantages, we are having the marine domain knowledge. We can, if we learn these tools, it will help us robustly actually.
Uh, right. I think the question was whether, with his prior experience, you can learn the tools, Suraj.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there have been enough and more examples. In fact, in the last session, we had one technical manager who was about 45 years old, and who was working ashore. We had a very senior marine chief engineer who was maybe late 40s or 50s who did that course, and they were able to cope up with it. So I mean, um, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't be able to. It's just that you would need to have some interest in it, right? If you don't have any interest, any motivation, then it may become difficult. But there's absolutely, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from being able to be proficient in these tools.
No, I meant with just related to the technical part of it. I mean, whatever knowledge you presently have, is it sufficient to step up? That is.
It is. It is. It is.
Yes. No
Okay. Thank you.
coding language, coding knowledge required.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Captain Gaurav,
Yes.
this is Atif here, Atif Madre. So I just had one of the doubts. I had attended your last webinar also when the course was held between November and December. I was on board at that point of time. Okay. You had Captain Gaurav over there as one of the trainers for Power BI. You had Jayashree madam. You had also Mohsin Parvez at that point of time. He was also taking one point of the classes that we had over there. So he who took, I think so, one or two sessions. I see that this time he's not around, and he had quite a good uh, Excel sheets. Means in that case that he promised that they would go for forecasting all these modules that were there. So would that also be covered this time around by somebody else, or will it not be there this time around?
Right.
Because I didn't see that part being covered.
Correct. So Mohsin is not he's not available. But so what Mohsin and Sudarshan, Captain Parhar are trying to do is they are trying to show the use cases uh, of Excel. Or Gaurav is doing is use cases of BI. There can be 1,000 use cases. What we did is last time we covered one use case. This time we are covering another use case. So don't worry about the use cases. If you want that particular Excel, we can share that with you. But these are use cases. Essentially, how do you use the concepts in the maritime field, which we will share with you. And honestly, if you go through this time's curriculum, the use cases are probably even more, especially with Captain Parhar coming in. He's used Excel extensively as well.
Captain Parhar might not remember, but we've actually had an opportunity to meet. We both worked for Nakilat at one point of time. I don't know whether he's still sailing with Nakilat.
I totally remember you, Atif. I have your number somewhere on my WhatsApp.
Yes, I have your number as well. So it was glad.
Good to see you.
My only point of this Excel, like officers need to be proficient in. So we already have that. It's always learning a little bit new, like so. In that case, it was more about forecasting. How did he use it in that point of scenario? So that is what I was more worried about. Means will that also get covered?
Yeah, the concepts will definitely be covered. It's the use case which we will have a different use case. But if you want that use case, we can show you. I can always request Mohsin to give that use case to you as well for practice. But concepts, all concepts are being covered. The use cases are different from the last time.
Okay, copied.
Okay. All right. Great. Moving on to the next question is, Narayan, what are the application softwares one need to have in the system? Narayan, it'll be Excel, Excel software, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft BI. So Excel, I'm assuming 100% of us will have. And for BI, we will give you instructions on how to download the BI. It's a free software, and there should not be an issue on downloading. It's an absolute free software. The only thing I think we need is that you should have a Windows laptop. Correct, Gaurav? That's the prerequisite.
Sorry, can you please repeat?
For Microsoft BI, is Windows laptop a prerequisite, or it can be used on Mac as well?
Yes, actually, the prerequisite is the Microsoft, Windows 10 and above. So it can be 32-bit or 64-bit, that's fine. But Microsoft 10 and above, Power BI will work on that. And Mac can be used, but it's uses a third-party softwares, and from there you can integrate. But honestly, I have never used Mac, so I may not be able to advise on that. But I would prefer go for Windows 10 and above.
Okay. Understood. I hope that answers your question, Narayanan. Jaspreet is asking, can we export the data to Word or PP or PowerPoint from BI? Gaurav, I assume we can.
Yes, there are many ways we can export the data that we generate in Power BI, many different formats. But I think Word is not there. I mean, we cannot publish it in Word from Power BI.
Okay. We can take screenshots and
indirectly we can do it. Indirectly, there are ways we can take screenshots. So if we finally want to generate a report, something like that, yes, indirectly we can do that.
Okay. Jaspreet's question is answered. Nilanchal is saying, will we be able to redesign dashboard like Mr. Rajendran had shown in order to extract meaningful data during our assignment, because I think this performance analyst does do that job. Yeah, I think so. Your question is more for Excel, Nilanchal. I assume that. For BI, absolutely you can. I mean, that's something which will be the basics of BI. Jayashri, would you want to answer Nilanchal's question, please?
Yeah, sure. Now, I won't say the exact report you'll be able to make just after the training, which is very obvious. So it's about, we are going to make you aware about the different tools which you need to know to create those reports. Now it's up to your creativity, I can say, your output you're expecting. Accordingly, you can definitely create any reports. But you need to practice. It won't be like on day one you learn something and on day two you are able to create an awesome dashboard like Ranjan had created. That's not possible. But practice, in 1 month or 2 months, you'll be able to create awesome reports. That's for sure.
Correct. Yeah, I think it's the concepts which we will know, which will empower you to do a lot of things. Now, it is that initiative that you would need to take, or anyone would need to take to then, make these awesome dashboards, and your creativity, your persistence, which will help you do it. Sachikant is asking for name of marine tech companies. I think it's Nautilus Lab was there. There is voyage optimization. There is one more company which is setting up a marine tech company. So these two are the companies which come directly to me, but I know at least three or four companies, marine tech companies, which are there.
Nautilus Labs.
Correct. Yeah, Prateek, we've received your payment. Thank you for that. We booked your seat. You want to book one more seat? Just write to from CN Beyond, Prateek will connect to you, or you can write to education@CN Beyond, and we can surely book your seat. Pinak has a question. Just are Python, Tableau, SQL agenda different from Power BI, or the main goal is the same, that is data analysis just for a different tool? Sudarshan, would you want to take this?
Yeah, okay. So basically, if I say Python, Tableau and Power BI can be interchangeably used. Basically, they are visualization tools. And SQL and Python is more on the data engineering side. It's not on the data analysis side. So if you are if you are basically you are based on the use case only, how you structure the data, how you clean the data, how you process the data, this all comes in this side, SQL and Python side. And to get the data insights, to get the story out of the data, that part it will be get covered in the Power BI or Excel. And Excel can do everything, not the large data sets, but for the smaller data sets, Excel can do all the things together in the same place. So we can do the data engineering part as well, visualization part as well, insights parts as well. But for the large data set, we have to go for tools like Python, SQL, and there are like now plenty of things coming in. We have to connect to the servers and do the same things in Databricks and Snowflakes, data warehouses, where the engineering and ETLs are happening. Then from there, it's the same thing. That's what Excel. In Excel, you will have the same thing. You will be doing the same thing, same like collection, cleaning, and transforming the data. Then make the insights out of it. Same thing, but you will use different tools in the background to get it in a front end website or a web page or any application. So basically, the tools you mentioned is for a larger scale work. To start with, to get you to understand how the works, how the flow goes, or if you have a concept or if you have a use case that you wanted to work and show it to the people, okay, this is what the flow it looks like. This data is coming this way, and I'm changing it to this way as a meaningful information, that data. So that you will show from the Excel. But if of course to make it to the larger scale, for the bigger audience, you have to use the these tools.
Right. So essentially, my view is that most of the people who are attending the webinar, you wouldn't be working as data scientist or data architects, or your core role will not be, processing the data or day in, day out. Your core role will be to understand the data, understand how it is processed, but more after doing that, probably apply your maritime knowledge to provide meaningful insights, right? That's your first role which you would have in the organization. Moving forward, you would essentially lead teams as you grow. And when you lead teams, you should be in a position to understand these tools and how it is done, so that you can manage your team, and your team will include people who are who are doing this data analysis. So for you, probably Python, Tableau, SQL may not be required. An understanding of data processing is the main thing which is required, and which you'll get through this course. All right. I guess we are done with the questions. And let me have a feedback question, and let us know if with this masterclass, were we able to meet your expectation? Was it useful for you, and how do you rate the session? Do let us know your feedback. Sachikant, in terms of marine tech companies, Nautilus Lab, voyage optimization is what comes to my mind. There are two more which I'm not able to recollect. We can probably write to you over an email the names as well. I look forward to having your answers, your feedback on the poll question, and if there's anything where you need improvement or which we would have missed, feel free to write it down in the chat window as well, or send us an email. Okay. We'll take Pinak, we'll take your question on how will it. Sachikant, yeah, you will get a certificate after the completion of this course, which we had told earlier as well. Gaurav, would you want to take Pinak's question on how Power BI can help a deck officer in transition, or he can help in taking up a role ashore?
Okay. Actually, what we'll be covering here is basically how to create, how to use these tools, which are used for data analysis part. So now a lot of jobs are coming up for junior officers, and you must be seeing those listings in places. So no matter what, whether you are working for a mining company, you're working as an analyst for this voyage optimization and bunker analyst, or no matter what role, today data analysis is used expressively like everywhere. So some or the other way, these tools will certainly help you to actually get those short jobs, because now the industry is not relying on gut feeling or individuals' thoughts. It's more data oriented. So no matter what it is, Excel and Power BI will be the backbone of it.
Sure.
Any specific jobs, I'm not sure about it, but yes, these are certainly these additional tools which can add value to your work.
Now, also, Pinak, I mean, C and Beyond, we are partnered to about more than 120 companies. And we, at any point of time, we typically have about 5 to 7 jobs wherein they require a deck officer to work in a voyage, in a role which is of an analyst, right? And wherein these tools are required. So typically we would be able to support you, but it's not a guarantee. It depends on a lot of other things, but the probability of getting a shore job increases if you do these courses.
Great. Yeah, one more thing I would like to add, sorry to interrupt, that like very well said, the probability of getting a shore job increases because every field you need analysts, right? Now everything is going into data analysis. In fact, when I started doing this video analysis about 1.5 years back, and I started using Power BI for my video analysis. Trust me, in those days, very few people, or perhaps nobody, was actually doing using that kind of analysis using these tools. So it obviously gave me an advantage over other what you call auditors, that I could use this and implement it in my work. How I did it, I have to figure it out. So that's how I got the edge and move further there. So it's all about once you have the knowledge of the tools, you should maybe try to come out with some ideas how you can leverage it. That's all. Yeah.
Right. I think that's pretty much it. We had a good 1 hour, 40-minute session, and we've got about 45 of you still around. And of course, the presenters who are still around, and like to thank all of you for your time. And I hope it gave you an understanding of what some basic data analysis tools could do, how you could use them in your daily, personal, professional life. And hope it's a useful session. And we look forward to seeing you in the classes which start and then from the next week. Thanks for that. I see a couple of questions. Sajal, is the certificate affiliated by any organization file? Microsoft? No, Sajal, that it won't be affiliated. Suraj, is there a minimum software qualification awareness required for the course? No, it is not required. I mean, if you're just seen Excel, used Excel, that should be okay. Yeah, then I guess Prateek has written about the links where you could use to book the course. And yep, that's pretty much it. Thank you, everyone. I hope it was useful and look forward to seeing you all in the course starting next week. Thanks a lot.